just every day I was like, I can't be a good teacher and a mom at the same time. Like, I don't know how to do that. It was a balancing act every single day. It was really, really hard. I asked my husband, I said, Joe, am I happier working or staying home? And he said without hesitation, YouTube, I'm here to talk to you about being a stay-at-home mom versus being a working mom. Which one is harder? So I am going to tell you a little bit about my experience with being a mom first. So I stayed home with my mom, my mom. Cut. All right, so I am here to tell you first about my experience because I have done both. I've been a stay-at-home mom and a working mom, not very long, I would say 5 months each, but I've had a little taste of both worlds. And then I will tell you what I think is harder, because for me personally, I do think that one is more difficult, so then we'll get into that later. So, being a stay-at-home mom versus being a working mom. Now, when I was a stay-at-home mom, I was a stay-at-home mom the first 5 months of my daughter's life. I'm a teacher, so I got the summer off too, and I went back in August. Now, that experience for me was very awesome. I loved being home with her, and I also really liked it because the first few months of having a baby, if you've had one, are really, really difficult, like extreme. So I really don't know how people take only 6 weeks off. Props to you, whoever does it. You're a real superhero. But really, I could not have gone back after 6 weeks. I don't know how people do it. So I felt really grateful to have that time with her. It's crazy. All the things that you do as a new mom, especially your first time around. So it was really, really great that way. Personally, I felt like when I was a stay-at-home mom, it was great. It was awesome. I was with my daughter all the time. I really, really enjoyed it. One thing that was difficult, though, is that I was constantly doing the same thing. My whole day was spent in one location, right? All day I was taking care of my daughter. All night I was taking care of my daughter, too. Obviously, my husband came home at night, so then I had some help. I don't like to say help because he's a co-parent, too. But, we were both taking care of her, so that helped a lot. But I was still doing the same thing that I'd done all day. If I didn't leave the house that day with her, I wasn't really leaving. I didn't have much social interaction. And it was really hard because I'm an extrovert and I like to talk to people. And so that was really hard. But I did feel like I had more time with her and I did have certain things that I could do. I wasn't as stressed out. And I'll talk about that later with being a working mom, but I did miss working in a way. I didn't necessarily miss going to work, but I missed using my creative outlet and really, I just missed working in some way. And that's when I started my YouTube channel and I tried to get into that, but then with time and with the school year starting, I just didn't find time to do it, but I'm really hoping I can get back into that now. But anyways, that's why I started it. But I just really, really missed, doing something other than just taking care of her, even though being a stay-at-home mom is a full-time job. It is hard work. Some days I wouldn't even eat anything until the end of the day, and that's when she really, really knew. If you're a mom, you understand that, and you don't really get a break. Whereas when I went to work, so now I'll kind of talk about my working experience. So stay-at-home mom, I missed creativity, which you can have creativity, but I missed working a little bit, and I felt like I was constantly doing the same thing, but I had less to keep track of. Now, on the flip side with working, I will just tell you these last 5 months have sped by. For some reason, time has sped by so much faster since I've been at work. And maybe that's just a different stage that she's in. She's a lot more independent now. She plays by herself a lot. Obviously, we don't leave her in the room ever alone, but, she's a lot more independent, whereas the first 5 months, it was constantly, she needs me, type thing. So when I was working, it just was constant cycle. get up in the morning, get yourself ready, get the kid ready, get bottles to daycare, then my husband would take her, which is a blessing because originally it was going to be me taking her. But anyways, then I go pick her up from daycare. Then I have these few hours with my daughter, and then we get ready for the next day, get the bottles ready and everything, and then you repeat. And honestly, getting used to that routine was so hard for me. I was, pumping. I was trying to keep my milk supply up, which is really, really difficult. It was going down because of stress. So then I turned to, waking up in the middle of the night to pump. Pumping extra at work, which meant I lost my planning time. So then I was behind at work. And if you're a teacher, your planning time, you need it. You need your planning time, and you need like 10 more planning periods. But if you don't use your planning time at school effectively, if you aren't using it, it puts you behind. It's just a whole setback. So then I started to get behind at school, which meant like more time in the middle of the night working on lesson plans and pumping. I hate thinking about this. This is awful memories. I had to take 10 days off of work. Not all at once, but sporadically, because I kept getting sick from lack of sleep. And really, like, the days that I took off, a lot of them weren't even for Adeline. Really, only like 2 or 3 were. Because I was getting sick. I ended up in the emergency room one night because I was so sick. Now, this doesn't happen to everybody. But for me, it was really stressful. It was a balancing act every single day. It was really, really hard. What am I forgetting to tell you? Oh, I feel like I'm forgetting to tell you something. I would still have Adeline go to daycare those days when I was homesick because I was so sick I couldn't even take care of her. So then I felt guilty about that. The nice thing about being a working mom, though, is you do have sick days. If you're a stay-at-home mom, you don't get sick days. I don't know how you would unless you had your husband stay home too. So that's the nice thing about being a working mom. I will say you get sick days, which is nice. But I hated it because I was away from my students, which my students need me. I have 113 and I'm teaching them English. And then I was away from my daughter, and I just felt like I couldn't be the best mom and I can't be the best teacher at the same time. Like, I'm still trying to figure that out. It's gotten a little bit better since I've gotten used to this whole thing. But every day I was like, I can't be a good teacher and a mom at the same time. Like, I don't know how to do that. And it was really, really hard. And I'm not going to lie, it's hard. Like, it's hard. But at the same time, I asked my husband, I said, Joe, am I happier working or staying home? And he said, without hesitation, you are happier working. And I could see that, and he said, you just need to be around people. You're an extrovert, and that makes you happier. So at the same time, I do enjoy working because I get to leave the house, I get a lunch break, I get planning period, I get to see my coworkers, I get to teach. I love teaching. It's like my favorite thing ever. I was born to do it. But it is hard because finding time to grade, finding time to plan, it still is hard, and I still am struggling with it, but it has gotten a lot better. Now, if you ask me which one's easier, staying home or working, for me personally, remember, I'm a teacher and I'm a new mom, fairly new. For me personally, working is more difficult. It just is. I have more things to balance. I'm constantly running around. I'm constantly trying to find time for work and home, and it's just like, it's crazy. I will say, I am busier. I am more stressed. So for me, working is more difficult. Staying home is a little bit easier. That doesn't mean that being a stay-at-home mom is easy. Being a stay-at-home mom is hard. Being a working mom is hard. Being a mom is hard. It doesn't matter if you stay home. It doesn't matter if you work. As long as you're loving your child and you are, giving them your undivided attention for a few hours a day or, whatever time that you can, that's what's important. And finding good childcare helps too. I could not ask for better childcare. I really couldn't. And it's expensive, but it's the sacrifice that we make because we want her to be in a good place. And we know that those teachers just love her so much. And that is what makes it easier to go to work. Your child needs people around them that are, you know, going to love them and care for them. And if they have that, then that's all that matters. It doesn't matter if you work or if you stay home. Now, if you want to stay home, and you can't, making that happen, there's ways to do that too. Or if you want to work and you don't want to stay home, you can do that too. It doesn't matter. You just have to do what's best for you.